What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about controlling our Apple TV with our HomePod. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me today. On this one, we're going to talk about controlling our Apple TV with our HomePod, what we can do and some of the limitations and stuff that go along with that. If you're new here, my name is Shane, and on this channel I'm building an easy smart home using HomeKit. So if that's something you're into, be sure to subscribe. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out when I post a new HomeKit video every week right here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to first just discuss some of the limitations and things that we cannot do right now, and then what we can do kind of natively, and then we'll go a step further and show you some of the things that you can do if you incorporate some shortcuts, maybe some stuff a little bit more custom built to work in your setup. And then at the very end, I'm going to give you just a few tips and settings and things to ensure that all this will work. So first of all, the HomePod really, in my opinion, is a little bit behind. I think it should be able to do a little bit more than it can. So we're going to discuss those limitations real quick. So first of all, what we cannot do is ask the HomePod to play specific movies or TV shows or anything like that from the HomePod. That kind of sucks. I feel like that's something we should be able to do. I know they're continuously changing this, and hopefully that's something we will be able to do here in the near future. But right now, you cannot tell the HomePod to play a specific TV show on the Apple TV. It won't work. Another thing you can't do is you can't tell the HomePod to turn on subtitles on your Apple TV. I feel like you should be able to do that because that actually works if you do it from your phone. If you just say, hey, turn on subtitles on my Apple TV, it'll work from your phone, but the HomePod says I cannot do that. So that's something I'd like to see. All right, now let's talk about what we can do. I'll show you some of the things you can do through playback. You can actually control a lot of the playback functions. You know what? Let's just go ahead to the living room. I'm gonna get comfortable and talk to my HomePod for a little while, and we'll show you what it can do in regards to controlling your Apple TV. Let's go. All right, so now we're comfortable in my living room. I got my TV up here, and I'm gonna talk with my HomePod and just show you what it can and can't do. Like I said before, you cannot tell it to play certain things, so that won't work. I'm gonna put on one of my YouTube videos just so I don't get any copyright strikes here with this video. So let me get that real quick. All right, and as you can see, I got, right now it's just YouTube playing, but again, this works with movies or anything. And now let's just talk to the HomePod. Pause the Apple TV living room. And you can see it pauses the video that's playing. Play the Apple TV living room. There you go. So this is really handy, you know, if you're watching a movie or something with the family and you don't want to hunt for the remote, you want to pause just to get up, use the bathroom or whatever, you can just shout out to your HomePod. It'll pause your video. Now check out this. This is a cool one. Rewind 30 seconds to Apple TV living room. And I don't know if you saw that, but actually skip back 30 seconds. Skip ahead 5 minutes on the Apple TV living room. And it skipped ahead. So again, this really works with anything you're playing on the Apple TV. Now you might notice me saying Apple TV living room. You can say pause on the Apple TV. I have multiple Apple TVs, and just to make things clear, because I don't want to get Siri confused, a lot of times it seems to work best if you say Apple TV and then the living room. That's why I say that, just to make sure Siri doesn't get confused. So that's some of the things you can do natively with the HomePod controlling the Apple TV. Now I want to show you some more things that you can do. You have to set up using shortcuts. Now I'm going to stop the TV and turn everything off so I can show you that real quick. All right, here we go. Hey Siri, it's movie night.
Just a sec. Okay, Shane. Which app would you like to open? Netflix, Disney Plus, or Hulu?
Disney Plus.
Done, Shane. That's done, Shane. Don't forget the popcorn. That's done.
So you can see it turned on Disney Plus. It set my HomeKit lights, all my lights, turned off lights in here, and then turned these on to certain blue colors. in my living room, and then opened up Disney Plus on the TV and turned the TV on. And you can see it also asks me which app I want to open. You can of course set that up to be whichever apps you prefer. I chose Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu. Of course you can't tell the HomePod what to play in those apps yet, unfortunately, but this is a good start. Hey Siri, turn off the Apple TV living room. So that's another one that you can do natively, and what that does is that'll sleep the Apple TV, and if you have that connected through HDMI CEC, it'll turn your TV off as well. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, so I've got another cool shortcut I'm going to show you. I turn the TV off, and what this one will do, this will actually turn on the TV if it's off, and it will open up an app called HomeCam on my TV automatically, and this will allow me to view my HomeKit cameras on my TV. And then as an extra step, it will open up the Apple TV remote on my phone automatically, so I can then control the TV if I want. All right, so let's go ahead and try this one out. Home TV display.
That's done, Shane. Okay, Shane. Done, Shane.
Don't you love how she says done after every single step? So you can see there it goes, took a second. As you can see here, the remote came up automatically. So that's showing a live feed of my cameras. And then with the remote, I can go in here and I can actually tap on one of the rooms, and then you can even go down there and control all of the accessories that are connected to that room, as well as the scenes, all right here from your phone. So this is pretty cool, just to get a quick display of your HomeKit cameras up on the TV. If you're walking around the house, you can set up this shortcut and shout at your HomePod. So these shortcuts are actually very simple to set up, but I'll go ahead and include them on the blog post. I'll put a link in the description down below where you can just download those straight from my website if you want, but they're really easy to set up. It's basically just waking your Apple TV and then opening up an app and then opening up the remote. So super easy there. Next, I have a shortcut that opens up my Spectrum app, which is how I watch live TV. So wherever I'm at, I can just fire off this shortcut to my HomePod, and it'll open up live TV on my TV, and also it'll open up the remote on my phone in case I'm not near the remote and I want to change it. But sometimes, you know, you just want to turn the TV on without actually sitting down. So this is a great shortcut for that. Hey Siri, watch TV.
Okay, Shane. That's done, Shane. Okay, Shane.
And you can see the TV comes on. Takes a second. There you go. Live TV is playing. That's my Spectrum app, but you can change that to be whatever your live streaming app is. And then I don't know if you can see this, but automatically it opens up the remote app on my phone. So if I'm doing things I don't have the actual Apple TV remote with me, I can use this to go ahead and control my Apple TV no matter where I'm at. So that's pretty handy there. So as you can see, there's some pretty cool ways that you can control your Apple TV using your HomePod, especially if you go the extra step of creating some shortcuts and doing some custom things like we've done here. Unfortunately, I think Apple still has a long way to go. There's so much potential here, and I'd like to see a little bit more connection between these two devices. You know, hopefully one day we'll just be able to tell the HomePod to, you know, play Game of Thrones on the Apple TV, and then boom, it'll start playing. That's what we really need. Hopefully that's coming. But in the meantime, this is kind of what you can do. Now let's head back to the office, and I'm going to leave you with a few last pointers just to make sure all this stuff works for you. Okay, I want to give you a couple of tips in case you weren't aware of that will help all this work if you are maybe having some issues or things like that. The first one is just to make sure HDMI CEC is enabled on both your Apple TV and your TV. So you might have to go into your TV settings to enable CEC or something similar to that. It may say something different, but find that setting in there, and what that does is that will allow your TV to be controlled through the Apple TV remote. So basically when you sleep your Apple TV, it'll turn your TV off, and when you wake your Apple TV, it'll turn it on. So therefore, when you use the HomePod or shortcuts or whatever, if you wake your Apple TV, it will turn your TV on. Another tip is just to make sure you're signed into the same Apple ID on your Apple TV and your HomePod or your phone, just to kind of make sure everything works well together. So if you're having some issues, make sure you're using the same Apple ID everywhere. And another tip is you want to probably just make sure your Apple TV and your HomePod are on the same network. Maybe your phone too, just to make sure everything is kind of connected and working well together that way. So do you have any good tips for controlling your Apple TV with your HomePod? If so, drop a comment down below. Also, if there's anything I missed or you have any questions, drop a comment down below as well. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out this video right here. This is about creating conversational shortcuts for Siri, and this works really well with the HomePod. Also, you can check out this playlist right here around automations and shortcuts, some things you might find interesting. I really appreciate you guys checking out this video, and be sure to subscribe, if you haven't already. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. New HomeKit videos every Sunday right here. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. We'll see y'all next week.